Hello, sports fans. Jim Coyle with Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Thank you for stopping by our YouTube channel. Make sure to hit the subscribe and notifications toggle so you never miss a thing. All of our content up here every day. Looking forward to it. Thank you, and we'll see you on the radio.
Welcome to Indiana Sports Beat Radio, brought to you by the Hard Truth Distilling Company in Brown County, Indiana.
So for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, time! 3 on the way. Oh! It went in! It went in! And Indiana wins the ball game! Know your role and shut your mouth, you jabroni! Float game for the win! Ayler's gone! Goodbye, touchdown, Indy! Woo! America! They got a football team now!
Pretty simple. I win. Google me.
You know that I'm the cream of the crop.
Now, from the Hard Truth Studios, here's Jim Coyle.
Welcome back to the Hard Truth Distilling Company studios on this Monday, starting off the last Monday of the month, and even sadder, the last visual that we have of the elusive Don Fischer for until he goes into hibernation about this time and is not to be seen again until football season sticks its head up out of the ground.
That's true. I will not be on your show the rest of the summer. I probably could do another show with you if we ever get a roster. But for basketball. But the truth of the matter is,
then that means I'll get back with you in about 2 months, Don, and I'll check in with you.
Well, it's going to be interesting. Coach DeVries has his work cut out for him. There's no doubt about that, because there's nobody left on that roster that was here last year. I think we all knew that was probably going to be close to what was going to happen. The only guy
probably a best thing, really.
I agree with that too. I think Luke Goody is still a possible to get a medical red shirt. It's possible. I don't know that it's going to happen, primarily because when he came back at Illinois, he came back at the end of a season and played 10 ball games, something like that. And that's never. I don't know that they've ever allowed a player coming back at the end of a season. He also played in an NCAA tournament game that year, so. That may not go through. They may finally put their foot down on something at the NCAA. Who knows? We'll find out. And if Luke decides to sue them because of that, he'll probably have the suit dropped and he'll probably be able to join the roster. So who knows? We'll have to wait and see on that one. But there's no question. Darian DeVries is hard at work. I went down last week, tried to get him to go to lunch with me. There was nobody in the office. There was not a single desk that had anything on it in the basketball offices at that point. He was sitting in there actually with the door closed, talking to somebody on the phone when I got there. I saw him through the little slit window that they have on the door. He said, he waved at me, and I backed off and went down the hallway and got away from this conversation because I didn't want to be eavesdropping, so to speak. And when he finally got off the phone, we had a chance to talk for a couple of minutes. I said, "You want to go to lunch?" And he said, "I swear to you, I'd love to go to lunch, but there's no way I can do it right now. This transfer portal is absolutely crazy, and I'm working my tail off." And so he's trying to put together a staff. I think he's got some of those people on board at this point, but they're not going to announce it until they've got the entire staff fulfilled. And I don't know when that will be, but hopefully shortly, because he needs that help too. He needs those guys to help him do what he needs to do from a transfer portal standpoint. And, maybe to even get a guy or two from the high school ranks at this point to come to Indiana. So the workload that he has is tremendous, no question.
Absolutely. And we saw him out at the Indiana State Finals in Indianapolis over the weekend, checking out the 3 and 4A games, which were tremendous, by the way. Absolutely great games to watch, and definitely making a presence. And there were two hangers on, I'll call them, that or two of those unannounced people that people are announced to be on his staff. I think Nick Norton and Drew Adams were in attendance there, along with many, many others. But there's a lot of work. I mean, there's never, they keep breaking records with the portal, Don. I mean, everybody's in the portal except for you. You may be one of the few that has not entered it, and you might consider throwing your name in there. You know, you never know. It may bring up your value if that's even possible.
Trust me, JMV wants to be on the Indiana roster in the worst way. You know who John is, and he wants to be on there. And then a guy from my church says that he's still got eligibility too. So trust me, there's a lot of people that are vying for those spots in his roster.
Well, you know, they've got two extra ones really now with the roster being expanded to 12 or to 15 players.
Yeah,
which
now does that and I don't know what the rule is now, but it's still only 13 scholarships, right?
No, it goes to 15 scholarship players, and
they can actually have 15 on scholarship now.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if that I've had too much to do, but I think that might eliminate the walk-ons.
That's interesting. I did not know that.
It's kind of like football with going to the bigger number of roster in football, but eliminating walk-ons. There's so much change.
Well, I can't keep up with it. I can tell you that.
It's hard for me to keep up with it. I'll tell you that as well. It's going left and right. But the fact that Darren DeVries was at the state finals, he stayed right. And boy, he had a hell of a game to watch for the 4A final. It goes to overtime. He stayed there the whole time, sitting courtside amongst many, many others. And it was worth staying for. I mean, it's the best game of the day, but right there. And that's a presence in and of itself that Indiana and Indiana fans have not been accustomed to seeing recently.
Well, that was delicate. Really nice job there, Jimmy.
Thank you, sir.
Well, you're right. And there's no question about that. And this guy to me is going to get it done. I just have this feeling about him based on his opening press conference to be introduced to the Indiana Nation, or to the Hoosier Nation, so to speak. And I was so impressed with the things that he said, how he talked about the culture that he wants to build, those kinds of things, how he goes about practice time. There's so many similarities, and I said this last week, to what we saw in Curt Cignetti's first press conference about how to build and construct a roster. And to my mind right now, his job is such a huge one at this juncture. He doesn't really have time to be doing much else. And to make that transition, come up to Indianapolis to watch those ball games on Saturday, that's huge. And it tells everybody that this guy wants to be a part of Indiana University and a part of Indiana basketball. It just tells you a lot about his belief and what he has to do, and because the job that he has right now is getting that staff together, and that's huge in itself. And then to be able to build that roster right away, to take that time to come up to Indianapolis and watch those games, I thought was just really important.
Yeah, and it's not that he doesn't have plenty to do, but that is of great importance, because that's a commercial to every single person that's in those stands, and every player and coach in that building, and maintaining the relationships with the high school coaches of great importance. You never know where the next player could be coming from. Yeah, it's going to be the portal, probably 75%, but that 25% is of great importance, because Indiana produces too much elite talent. So you don't want to burn any bridges.
Right. Oh, we'll see. It's like I say, I think it's going to be a fun watch. I think if they can put together some kind of a foreign tour, so to speak, I guess that's a possibility. I read that in the HT a couple of days ago. If he's able to put that together as well, to get these guys all on the same page that are coming in as transfer portal players or high school recruits, whatever the case may be, I think those are culture building type things that you have to do. And so it'll be interesting to see if they can get that foreign tour type deal done and have guys have a chance to get to know each other and really build that camaraderie, so to speak.
Yeah, and I know that they've been to the Bahamas, yada yada. I don't consider that a foreign trip. I mean, I know that officially it is now, but I'm thinking, Europe, and has that happened since Bob Knight took the team to in the 80s when they went on that trip?
Don't think it. I shouldn't say that it hasn't.
I can't recall.
I can't remember if Tom Crean ever did that. I don't know if they ever did that with Tim. Well, Tom Crean had to build a roster with walk-ons for the most part when he took over, and so I don't think Indiana ever had a foreign tour, summer tour, or something like that under Crean. I know they didn't do it under Archie. So yeah, I don't know if we've done that since Bob Knight. I really don't. I mean, they went to the Bahamas, which you mentioned under Mike Woodson, but that's the only trip that I could recall that has taken place outside of the basketball season.
Yeah, and that trip had great dividends for that particular group of Indiana players, and I'm not saying, I'm not sure that the same thing would happen, but I watched the documentary on that and how that happened before Indiana's last national championship team. They were not, I guess, playing well together or whatever, and boom, that's the only time Bob Knight did that, oddly, and it resulted in a national title.
Yeah, there's no question. I mean, I think it does something. It builds relationships. That's what a tour like that does, and especially with an entirely new roster, I think that's going to be very, very important. So I hope they can get that done because I think it will help a lot.
I was going to say, and there's never been a day or age where that is more important than now, because it's harder, because you don't have guys that have been together as long. There's
right.
On a given year, it's doubtful you have guys that have been together for 3 years or more, much less more than that. So what's up next for the Fish, baby?
Well, I here, you never asked me about my bracket, and naturally you wouldn't do that because I've never had a good one until this year.
Let's hear about the brackets.
I have 3 of the 4 teams in this thing, and the team that probably will win the national championship, I didn't have them in there. That one team, that was Duke. And I thought when I made up my bracket, I didn't know if Flag was going to play for the Blue Devils. And so I picked them to get knocked out in the second round of the tournament. And of course, they are blowing everybody away. So I've got Houston as my champion. They're playing Florida in the championship game, if I'm calling it correctly. But we'll see. But I've got Houston, Florida, and Auburn as the 3 teams, along with the Duke Blue Devils. I didn't pick them. That's the only team I didn't pick.
I am in the same camp, Don. I had Duke getting upset and not being in the Final Four. I had the other 3, and we'll see how that goes. But Duke, I became a Duke believer over the weekend.
Oh, me too.
Okay. I'm in. I give up, Uncle. I was like, wow. So that's what happens when you play defense against a team like Alabama, who scored 2,000 points in the game before that.
Well, it knocked in 25 threes in 51 attempts. That's just unbelievable. But I've got Houston as my champion. I'm despite the fact that people, Hoosier Nation, a lot of the people in the Hoosier Nation don't like Kelvin. I still like Kelvin. I think he's a great basketball coach. And here's the other thing. Bruce Pearl at Auburn has done a phenomenal job. Obviously, they knock out Michigan State and Tom Izzo yesterday. But look, I mean, you know what? This has been a good tournament, and there's a lot of chalk there. But that's going to be more the scenario these days in college basketball because of the transfer portal. It's just going to happen that way. You're going to see very few. I don't say you're not going to see some upsets, but you're not going to see as many upsets in the NCAA tournament as it used to be.
No, and I think these teams are actually being seeded more accurately to what they are as well, because it's
all the analytics and that kind of stuff. Yeah. I mean, there's so much involved now, and it's gotten to be such a science, so to speak, in regard to how you evaluate teams. And look, the guys that are doing that for a living, the Ken Palms and the Lenardis and those kinds of people, they know what they're talking about, and they've seen it. And it's not feel anymore. It's more about the analytics and the actual what's going on the floor.
Well, absolutely. And enjoy your hibernation period. I hope that they have lights down under the tunnels there so you can see all the golf courses and all of that. But
Trust me. Trust me. I've been out there twice already. So I've been on the golf course a couple of times here of late, and that's going to increase as we get forward.
It wasn't yesterday. I can guarantee you that.
No, it's been some bad weather and those kind of things happen. But from my perspective, I've got a really nice summer coming up here, so I'm looking forward to it.
Looking forward to it as well.
Oh, you know what? I ought to say. I mean, I've gone to 2 football practices last week too.
Well, because unfortunately, I'm not able to get to them because of the timing of them.
Well, nothing has changed. The football team.
Not a lot going on right now.
The football team is looking good. The 2 practices I went to, Kurt Cignetti's practices are so much fun to watch because they literally work their tails off, and there's very little downtime. And primarily, it's an opportunity to see these guys, see how talented they are. And I actually think this team, maybe not from a depth standpoint, but from a actual talent perspective, is a better football team than we saw a year ago.
I agree. I've said that over and over. I tell people, the record might not match it this year because the schedule is ramped up. But I see a potential 10-2 team if they win one of these tough road games, which I think that they kind of need to do because of the talk last year. But if they can get that done, that will get them back to the CFP. A 10-2 Indiana team, to me, is going to be back in the CFP. 9-3 is the easy middle mark to say, and 8-4 crazy as this sounds. 8-4 should be the absolute bottom. I'm
that used to be the top. That used to be the top we talk about.
That used to be a wish list.
No, it's fun. Indiana football is without question the real deal. And I can't wait to see it this fall.
Looking forward to it, brother. The great Don Fischer joining us here on Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Enjoy it, brother. We look forward to talking to you again soon.
All right. Thanks, Jimmy. See ya.
Thank you, sir. Hello, sports fans. Jim Coyle with Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Thank you for stopping by our YouTube channel. Make sure to hit the subscribe and notifications toggle so you never miss a thing. All of our content up here every day. Looking forward to it. Thank you, and we'll see you on the radio.